Are you an entrepreneur with your own business? Do you enjoy learning all about the cool innovation that's happening right here in the Lehigh Valley? Startup Lehigh Valley is a Shark Tank style competition presented by Factory LLC and Penn State Lehigh Valley Launchbox, where local entrepreneurs pitch their business ideas for a chance to win cash prizes. Join us this October for the third annual 2021 Startup Lehigh Valley Pitch Competition for local entrepreneurs and innovators. All area business leaders, investors, higher education representatives, students, and community members are invited to join us. Local entrepreneurs are encouraged to apply for a chance to pitch their innovative ideas. Check out startuplehighvalley.com for more information.
All right, hello everybody, and another great session of Game Changers. The guy that we have on today is an incredible person. I can't believe what you've accomplished, Rich Thompson. You're an incredible guy. You're really blessed with a ton of energy. People like being around you, and I don't know. Let me just start with this, Rich. How did you become the Rich Thompson that we know? I mean, your energy level, what appears to be, the confidence level. You really kind of got a lot of gifts, and I know I'm overflowing with compliments, but simply it is the truth.
Well, it's a lot of hard work, but Tony, I got for you is that you asked me how becoming rich. So see, I even got a book that says Becoming Rich Thompson.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right? So
I got to get a copy of that.
So that's, you can read the book and then the interview's over. I don't really need anything else. But I've been very fortunate. I've been very blessed over the last kind of 40 years in consumer products to do all the things we have, from building the largest pasta manufacturing operations in North America to running and operating Meow Mix, one of the largest cat food companies, meow, 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 in the U.S., Fresh Pet, built here in the Lehigh Valley, been the privilege of running that, and now Factory here in the South Side Bethlehem. So I've just been really blessed to do a lot of really fun things that I love to do. And I've never really had a job from high school on. I've just done things I wanted. Nobody would ever hire me. So I just said, what the heck, I'll just do whatever I need to do. Always want to do things that I like. So it was never work. So for me, I feel like I've never worked a day in my life, because every morning I get up, I'm doing something I'm excited about and I love to do. And I got, the secret for me is hiring really good people that can execute. If you hire one once in a while, it's not good. You got to move on for sure. But you really need to put a good team of people around you and let them go do their thing, and mentor them, manage them a little bit, but let them do their thing. So having good people in great projects that are fun.
I think what's interesting to me when you talk about that, Rich, is that you, in terms of being in the product business, you've got to be a bit of a risk taker. You've really rolled out products that you don't know where they're going to go. What's the difference between a good risk taker and a not so good one? Is it just luck, or is it obviously preparation?
Yeah.
So you got to get a little lucky, right, at times?
Well, luck has a lot to do with it. I'd say timing is probably better than luck, because timing, whether it's before the pandemic or after the pandemic or during the pandemic. So, but timing in life is really important for products. I've worked on projects in my career that didn't work out as good as I'd like. But 5 years later, it's like, oh, that project blew up. It's like, oh my God, I was 5 years too early on that idea. So, my mind's always thinking about something, but then, go back and say, is the consumer ready for this, right? Because one of the hardest thing in the world to do is educate a consumer on a new product, right? It's like, oh my gosh, it's like you don't have enough money. You left maybe your Kraft or Coke or somebody that can do that. So if it's something that people can look at and go, oh, I get that. And an example, one of our companies is here at Factory is Stuff Puffs. Stuff Puffs, we're building a new 165,000 square foot, not building, it's done now. It started up this week, actually. 165,000 square foot state-of-the-art s'mores factory. And if you think about a marshmallow, I mean, everybody knows what a marshmallow is. Everybody does, right? Everybody does. So, but then if you say, hey, I got a marshmallow, but I've stuffed that marshmallow with chocolate on the inside, you've got an instant s'more. People get that. You don't have to educate anybody. They just get it, right? Oh, instead of that messy chocolate on the outside or the chocolate that never melts, all of a sudden I've got something. But what we're finding is that they don't even get to the campfire. They eat it because it becomes confectionery. So what we're just doing is disrupting the confectionery market, because if you think about it, when's the last time you've seen a really interesting new candy? You know, they make them bigger, they make more bites, they make, you know, they put a topping on it, they put more nuts on it or something, but that's not real innovation, right? It's just a line extension. So the thing is that this is really not only the world's largest marshmallow factory in Bethlehem, but it's also a confectionery that's disrupting the confectionery market in a really interesting way. So, but when you have some product like that, you don't have to do the education. You just have to show it and people get it.
Yeah, and I'm not ashamed to admit, every time I visit you at Factory LLC, a couple of those go in my pocket, and they are really good, really good. And I want to, there's so many things we could talk about, but I don't want to miss what you've meant to this community. First and Fresh Pet, the amount of people you employ, and now the great work you're doing at Factory LLC, what that means to startup businesses, the employment situation here in the Valley. And then I want to talk about Startup Lehigh Valley, but talk about Factory LLC and how you got there, the transformation you made with that incredible site.
Cool. Is that I was very fortunate to be the CEO, chief operating CEO at Fresh Pet for a number of years. We took it public, as you know. And I'm not much of a public guy because it's hard for me to follow the rules. And when you're a public guy, you got to kind of like really follow rules. And there's some people who do that really well. And for me, I like to talk and be innovative, and you really can't do that being a public CEO. So I found the next niche I liked, and that was take 40 years of experience and say, I can take that 40 years of experience and do something interesting to help all these new younger companies, and not all of them, because the marshmallows is not, but fits into this, does not fit in this category, but the healthier companies, less processed foods, less preservatives, just free from all the dairy-free, gluten-free, and non-GMO, all of those kinds are really trendy now, especially during the pandemic and over the last several years, where people want to just eat better, live better lives, and et cetera. So taking that format and say, hey, let's go out and see if we can raise a bunch of capital. And we raised $250 million in order to invest in multiple companies. But instead of being a typical PE or venture capital firm where we just give them the money and say, hey, here's the money, let's check in every few months and see what's going on. Let's not do that. Let's build a facility so that we've got all of this, the professional people they need in one location. So it's never been done before. That concept's never been done before. And again, I like to do things that have never been done and that are unique and different, and they're exciting. So it's like, think of getting a scholarship to Lehigh University or Northampton College or any of the Penn State. You got to go there. When you get a scholarship someplace, you got to show up, right? And so it's the same with Factory. If we invest in your company, you've got to move to Bethlehem and live in this building, this new factory building we have at 315 Columbia Street. So the idea is, if you come into the building, you'll see it. It's a really cool space, and you can do everything here but sleep. I guess some people have slept here before, but don't tell anybody. So the fact is that they would come here and take one of these shipping containers we've designed. It becomes their home, if you will, their office space. And then we have everything from sales, marketing, finance, supply chain, consumer insights, packaging engineering, packaging design. We have Harvard food scientists that work here. So we have all of these people here. So you surround yourself, and what you don't do well, we can do for you. So a lot of entrepreneurs can say, hey, I'm a great marketer, I'm a great financer, or I'm a great innovator on new product. But there's about 20 things you have to do to be successful. Mm-hmm. So whatever those things you don't do well, we'll do the rest of those things for you here in this building. We do everything here but manufacturing. We don't do manufacturing, but we have, director of co-manufacturing and food safety. So when we take you out to find manufacturing for you, then we have people that go out and do those co-packing agreements and do all the things that you need to do. But if you get to a point, we can build manufacturing like we did with Stuff Puffs here. We've spent almost $100 million on building a state-of-the-art world's largest marshmallow plant here in Bethlehem. So we can build manufacturing once we get a company up to the right size to be able to do it. So it's just one of those things that I thought was a really cool idea. And so this is a real platform that we built here. And I look forward to probably building 2 more or 3 more across the country. Maybe one here, one in Kansas City, one in Austin, Texas, maybe one out in Bend, Oregon. but across the country, because this platform model that we've built here seems to be resonating with retailers, consumers, and these new companies. So we're onto something.
What I love about that, Rich, is with the skill set that you have and the experience, you can take someone who creates. Many people who are creative artists, if you will, whether it's food or making widgets, don't have, maybe, as you said, the skill set in terms of marketing and packaging and that whole process. So it's a really good marriage, it sounds like to me.
Yeah, and we have the financing too, right? Most people fail because they just don't have the financing, right? So yeah, so there's a lot of those things we do. And one of the things we've done in conjunction with that, as you mentioned earlier, Startup Lehigh Valley. Yeah. So we've done it 2 years in a row now. So this coming October, we'll have our 3rd annual Startup Lehigh Valley. And the idea with there is just giving back to the community with this facility we have, is to be able to, we can put 400 or 500 people in the facility, but is to be able to encourage the local community, not just in what we do. We kind of focus on food, beverage, and pet. But the idea is to take the whole Lehigh Valley community and say, hey, community, if you've got an idea, I don't care what it is, doesn't matter. You think about it and submit it. And we've teamed up with Penn State Lehigh Valley Launchbox, which is a great opportunity as well. So we've teamed up with them, and we'll team up and sponsor with other people in the Valley as things go along. We haven't been wanting to push anybody to join us, but the fact is that as people see the value, they're welcome to participate in whatever level they want. So the idea is to take all these people with their ideas, 100 ideas this last time, or I'm not sure the exact number, but somewhere around there. We take them and vet them through and find out what we think the top 10 coolest ideas are. Now, those top 10 cool ideas is that then they come on to the factory, or last year we had to do it through Zoom, but vet them out, have some judges, and then have some winners, and then give them some money. We gave out $10,000 worth of prizes last year, and that prize package will grow again this year. So the idea is to give them a platform to showcase their idea. It's a platform to let investors, the community, know what these ideas are, so that if you want to get around and support them, you can do that, and to give them some seed capital to help grow their idea. Because the more that we can encourage people to create these jobs in the Valley, that's just a good thing.
It's incredible in the sense of localized. I hate to use this broad term, but kind of a localized Shark Tank. But
yeah, it's a localized Shark Tank. That's what it is.
And what do you call it? The blast furnace that I hear that they get?
Nah, we just call it Startup Lehigh Valley. Gotcha. Because we just want to promote the Lehigh Valley.
Gotcha. Yeah, and it's a great thing. What do you like best, Rich, when it's all said and done? Do you enjoy the economic success you have with these startups, or the fact that you see people who maybe thought they'd never be at the place they are, helping them get there, and maybe a little bit of both?
Yeah, I like to see people take a really cool idea and succeed with it, right? And again, going back to the marshmallow idea, think about that for a second, is that marshmallows have been around for 150 years. Mm-hmm. How come anybody hasn't figured out how to stuff a marshmallow yet? I mean, because it's hard. There's no technology out there doing it. There's nobody that has the intellect to do that. So this young man spent 7 years, 8 years thinking about it. And so with my background and his background, we teamed up and voila, we figured it out, and here we go. So that's, for me, that's the exciting part, is to bring an idea together and make it work. And if it's a really good idea, you'll get the economics from it. That's not a problem. But if you go into an idea like I'm going to have all about economics, it'll usually fail. So you have to have something that the consumer really wants and fills a need for the consumers at a price point they can afford it. So that, if you can do that, it'll all work.
Rich, you talk about raising $250 million in terms of startup capital, like it was a pretty easy thing to do. But that really, the reason you have investors is basically they're in a sense betting on you, Rich, and what you've done and what you will do in the future.
Well, yeah, you got to have a pretty good track record. Unfortunately, I'm old now. I'm not the 25-year-old startup guy. So I've made most of the mistakes, and I've been very blessed and fortunate that we've gone through several companies that have been very successful. So you always like to bet on somebody that's been successful. So I appreciate the people that have invested in me. I've had a lot of mentors through my career in life that have helped me when I was younger, and I just feel good about giving back. And as you get older, it's not so much about the economics anymore. It's about, you know, what you can do to help other people, because we're all here on this earth for a short period of time. And when you leave, it's nice to leave something that might be good for others.
So I think of the success you've had, Rich, which has been incredible for people that are watching. Think, well, I want to be that person. I want to be Rich Thompson so badly. There wasn't, I mean, when you start up and you had nothing to lose, were there times where you didn't want to quit, but you know, it wasn't perfect and not everything was a success from the very beginning?
Yeah, it is that when you start, I started when I was in high school. Me and a buddy of mine, we started a candle company back in 1968, and making candles, and pretty soon we were making them for all the Pizza Hut restaurants in North America and so forth. So, you know, for me, it was just natural taking risk. And yeah, there were some things that I did in between each one of these ventures, and some of them didn't work out as well. But you got to say, hey, what did I learn there? What did I do wrong? What steps can I take to not let that happen again? And I can give a lot of lessons, not today, but I can certainly sit down with somebody and give a lot of lessons at things that I would never do again, mistakes that I made. But I think that you cannot win without making some mistakes, because you will make mistakes. You try to make them as small as possible so they don't kill you or kill your business. Mm-hmm. But the fact is, if you don't succeed, take a couple days and think about it, and go again. This is America, so it's not like you can't fail and win. I think the old thing is Babe Ruth had more strikeouts than he had home runs. Yeah. But you know, he was the king of home runs, right?
Yeah, I always like that one. You know, get back.
Well, maybe not necessarily. It might have been somebody else, but he was pretty close.
Yeah, that sounds good. I like Babe Ruth. That sounds good. I'm going to bring in Lauren Spence because she's dying to ask you a couple of questions.
Sure.
And you know, Lauren, she started this.
Yeah. Hi, Lauren.
Good so Lauren, there you go. I know you've been anxious to get with Rich, and it's all yours.
I really have. And the more you talk, the more questions I have. So it's just been amazing learning from you so far. You mentioned having a lot of mentors early in your career. So I'm curious, what is the best advice you have ever received from one of your mentors?
Wow, that's a crazy question. Here, let me read my book real quick.
I want a copy, by the way.
Yeah.
Let me go back and let me check that out. You know, that's a really good question. There's so many things throughout my career that people have taught me, and I think, you know, one that jumps at me is good karma, right? I think good karma. So many people get so mad at people and like hate people, or I'm gonna find a way to screw that guy or whatnot. For me, it's about good karma. Is that if you do make a mistake in life and owe up to it, and if you owe people money or something and you can't pay it back, just say, look, dude, I can't pay it back today, but when I can, I will. And you know, whether it's 5 years later, 10 years later, and you show up with a check and say, here's that money that I owed you, that's good karma. And that makes you feel good and surprises the other person. And it's so easy not to do that, but it's so good. So I think good karma and doing the right thing is really important in business.
I love that. Thank you so much, Rich. The other question I had for you, you are absolutely in the business of innovation. So if one of my peers was feeling particularly entrepreneurial and had a new idea for the next big product, what would you tell them to have at the table when they come to make their pitch to you in order to be most successful?
Well, that's a really good question. Thank you for that one. Startup Lehigh Valley is going to be in October, right? I don't think they've set a date, but it'll be October. So everybody keep watching or listening, and Chamber will be giving information out on it. You know, get it ready. You know, build a prototype, build a business plan around it. Go talk to friends and relatives and get their feedback, what they're thinking about it. If you can build a prototype, if it happens to be food, perfect it, make some, share some, get feedback, make it better. If it's a beverage, do the same thing. If it's a pet food, pet treat, do the same thing, and get all that information, kind of consumer information. Keep building your business plan, get some prototypes or make some prototypes, and then bring it to us. And in October, we'll see if it's a good idea or not.
I love it. Awesome. So prototype and get lots of feedback and just keep innovating. I love it. Thank you so much.
Rich, I'm concerned that both of Lauren's questions you said were really good questions. You haven't said any of my questions were really good. I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, come on. Look at her and look at you. Come on.
Oh, Well, I know we were both very excited for this opportunity to spend time speaking with you, Rich. So thank you so much for your time.
Rich, one last quick question I have, and what I really love, because we're out of time, and I don't want to keep you take advantage of the time, I guess the way to say it. But you've also, in all this, you wanted to have an impact on your community, which you have had. But even the south side of Bethlehem, you've been an incredible force over there. Just because, the energy that you have sort of emanates. And what your thoughts about where you wanted to locate and why that was important to you.
Yeah, that's a really good question too, Tony. Is that
thank you very much.
So I'm giving you some credit there. So when I left Freshpet, I could have done this anywhere in the country. Mm-hmm. I could have gone to Bend, Oregon and built the first one, or Des Moines, Iowa, or wherever. But the more that I was here with Freshpet and learned the community, understood the community, manufacturing, distribution, cost of living, lifestyle of living here, Saucon Valley Country Club, all the things that made living here in the Valley really a great place for families and business. And then realizing that wherever I built this, I would have an impact, which is one of the mentors that taught me a long time ago. If you're going to build something in a community, be sure that you have a impact on that community, and you're not just somebody else over in some warehouse doing something nobody knows about. So I thought I could probably make a decent impact here in South Bethlehem, and finding a building that we could take from an old industrial era and turn into a millennial innovation center, and in town where you can walk across the street to see town or little businesses that hopefully will continue to develop over the years. And Lehigh University, 3-4 blocks away, and other universities close by, just felt like it's the right place to build the first one. So a lot of things you do in life is not only based on analysis, but then you got to have a good gut feeling about it as well. So.
Well, Rich, we have a good gut feeling about you. You're an incredible guy. Every time I'm around you, it's number one, exciting. It's fun. You're just high energy and great to be around. You make it feel like, like this world's moving forward, not backward. I'm thankful that we have you here. That's my pitch. I'm going to turn over to Lauren, who's going to close us out. It's all yours, Lauren.
Thank you, Tony. And Rich, you talked about giving back to the community, and you certainly have done that. You and your team at Factory are amazing partners, not only to the Chamber, but to the entire Lehigh Valley. So thank you so much for all you do, and thank you for your time today.
Good. And I appreciate you having me on, and I certainly appreciate not only Southside, but all the teammates that I have here at Factory LLC, and we got a good group of teammates here for Factory.
You certainly do. To our viewers at home, we hope you enjoyed this installment of Game Changers, and we look forward to connecting with you next time. Make sure you stay tuned on the Chamber's social media pages for our next episode. We'll see you then.